So at this point, I'm going to invite up Representative from District Number 17. Put your hands together for Ed Diehl.
Hey, I love you too, Don. It's great to be here. Thank you. Suzanne, you really have something going on here. You're building something great. And I'm honored to be here. I have mixed feelings. You know, we're having a lot of fun doing all these raffles, but I'm struck by Chloe Cole's story. You know, let kids be kids. Nobody should be told that they're born in the wrong body. No kid should be told that. No kid should have to go through and pick a list of what their identity is. Every child's unique, born in God's image, and they should be told that they're beautiful. So we come together tonight because we care deeply about what's happening in Oregon's public schools. And we refuse to be left in the dark. You know, you've likely heard bits and pieces about what's going on in our schools. I want to fill you in a little bit about some recent stuff. We've heard a lot of stuff here today, but I want to shine a little more light on that because Oregon kids are counting on us. And every one of us has a right to know what's going on. So I want to dive right in. Just this past year, the Oregon Department of Education has been distributing summer school grants, not based on any objective measurements of need, but based on race. I have the spreadsheet where they did the math to distribute the money based on race. This divides our kids, creates winners and losers. The commissioner spoke eloquently on this. It's unbelievable. And we all know that every child, regardless of skin color, deserves an equal opportunity. Unfair funding programs like this don't unite us, they divide us, they drive us apart. And it's a direct violation of federal law. It's a direct violation of our Constitution, the federal Constitution and the state Constitution. You've also probably heard about the claim that poor school performance is all about money. Well, during recent testimony in the legislature, I think it was last week, educators claimed that we need an additional $5,000 per student to do it right. $5,000. Folks, we've been throwing money at this problem like nobody's business, and look at where it's gotten us. Reading levels have plateaued, truancy is skyrocketing, dropout rates remain high, test scores, if we even bother to test, have dropped. Our schools rank near the bottom in outcomes, yet we rank near the top in school funding. Our real need is accountability and transparency in our schools and agencies. Where do our tax dollars go? And who's being held responsible for the results? On top of that, and we've heard it, boys and girls sports, it's unbelievable. And despite Title IX, the federal law, which ensures equal opportunities for women, Oregon continues to do this. This is about the dignity and safety of our kids, especially our women and girls. Just this week, the legislature's own legal counsel, one of my colleagues, requested some counsel from, in the legislature, in the Capitol, we have a nonpartisan group of lawyers. And we can ask them just about anything we want, and they give us an opinion. So the lawyers came back to us and said that the Oregon Department of Education and the OSAA are violating Title IX, direct violation. Our own lawyers are saying that. So how do you think Oregon leadership would respond? How do you think our governor would respond? How do you think the Democrat supermajority now would respond? They're doubling down. They're doubling down. They're defying not only this, but every single executive order that makes common sense is coming down from the Trump administration. Every single one. Instead of making these common sense reforms that Oregonians are demanding, I heard last week that the superintendents got together and they're figuring out how they're going to make things work without federal money. They're seriously figuring out they will not change. They would rather lose those federal funds than follow the Constitution and do what's right. And who's going to get stuck paying the tab is Oregon taxpayers and what's going to happen to our kids. Roll, oh man, I'm trying, yeah. But I could go on, this is just, there's so much going on. This is the tip of the iceberg that's destroying our public school system. This is so important. The future of our state and of our nation rests in a well-educated citizenry. It's vital. We are failing in an epic way in Oregon. And we're going to pay dearly as a state, and I'm afraid dearly as a country if we don't change back. But friends, I say we're not powerless in this. I have hope, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this crazy job in the first place. And we saw nationwide, people are rejecting this divisive woke policies. We see it in community after community. We see parents and grandparents standing up and speaking out and getting real results. The tide is turning. I know it can turn in Oregon. We're kind of ground zero for the crazy. So what do we as Oregonians demand? And what am I fighting for in the legislature? And a lot of my colleagues are fighting for in the legislature. We're demanding we're going to end the discriminatory and race-based practices in our schools. We're going to end DEI. We're going to demand real accountability and transparency so we know where our money's going and who's responsible when our students are failing. We're going to protect the dignity and the safety of girls by keeping boys out of girls' sports. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. That is an 80-20 issue. They know they're wrong. They do not want to talk about it. We're going to make them talk about it. We're going to make them talk about it. We're going to make them justify why they're going against the will of 80% of Oregonians, why they're harming kids. And we're going to insist that Oregon follow federal law rather than break it at the expense of our kids and our wallets. So moms and dads and neighbors, your children and your grandchildren need you. They need your voices at school board meetings. They need your presence at the ballot box. And they need your unwavering commitment to fairness and accountability. And I know if we stand together and demand what's right, we can bring real change to Oregon schools. I know it. And we can give our kids the education, opportunities, and future that they deserve. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to thank you for refusing to stay silent. This is what it takes. Let's stand up for our children and make Oregon schools a place that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Ed Diehl for governor! Ed Diehl for governor!
Yeah.